Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining in and welcome to Edureka webinars. So team, in today's session, we'll be looking into the Power BI on Azure. Okay, so this is how the overall agenda would look like. As we progress, we'll understand what exactly is this Azure and the Azure platform. And we'll also see what is Power BI and the components of Power BI and Azure ML. And I'll also give you a quick idea as how you can get started in a hands-on manner whenever you're working, okay, how you can, especially with Azure, okay. That's how we'll be progressing as we progress in today's session. So let's get started. Okay, now here, as part of your learning journey in this learning program of Power BI certification course, we are following a learning methodology that's called as a structured learning methodology. Now, in this structured learning methodology, we'll be covering the topics in a detailed manner. So as a learner, you will be progressing in a sequential way and understand what is happening in the backend and get an overall perspective. Okay. Some of the key units and the highlights that we'll be covering as part of your certification training program is like this. So in the first module, it's about the introduction to Power BI. So here are some of the key topics that you will be learning is what exactly is this business intelligence, the concept of SSBI, that is self-service business intelligence. You'll also understand about Power BI. What exactly is the difference between the traditional approach, that is traditional BI, versus Tableau, versus Power BI, versus ClickView. You'll understand the use cases of Power BI, the flow of work whenever you start working with this Power BI, components of Power BI, introduction to building blocks of Power BI. So overall, I would say that with the first module, you will complete the hands-on installation of Power BI and get the basic understanding of business intelligence and complete the overall installation. Now, here in the second module is about the self-service business intelligence, where you will learn about the various data sources that you can actually connect for the Power BI desktop, how you can load the data, how to create the views in Power BI, query editor in Power BI, transform, cleaning, shaping, and modeling the data, how to manage the business relationship, data relationship, editing the relationship. So overall, you will learn about the data transformation. And as you progress, you'll also learn about the key concepts like how you can work with the DAX and the DAX and overall concepts. Okay. So I think they have highlighted some of the key items of this first module. And by completing the overall learning journey, you will be an industry ready professional in this technology of Power BI. Now, coming back to our learning agenda. So let's understand what exactly is this Azure. So Microsoft Azure, I would say that it has grown at a tremendous rate since its inception in the year of 2012. Now, this Microsoft Azure, I would say that it is growing continuously in the number of services, as well as the number of customers who are actually using the Azure cloud services. And Microsoft Azure is a set of cloud services which will help the organization to meet the business challenges. Okay, so here I can say overall, this is a cloud. I would say this is one of the cloud service platform, which is by the Microsoft team. Okay, and I would say that this Azure is growing at a faster rate, and it is actually closing the gap between itself and the market leader, that is the AWS in the cloud domain. Now here, when we talk about this Microsoft Power BI, as like any other cloud vendor, so they provide the services, and with these services, we'll get the freedom to build, manage, and deploy the applications on a massive global network, which Microsoft already has. So here, like using this Microsoft Azure, so we can use the favorite tools as well as the framework. So I can say this Azure provides a very good platform as a service with various tools and the building blocks, and it offers compatibility with .NET programming language, which is one of the great advantage that we would have. And the security and data protection feature that we have got in Azure is second to none in the cloud domain. And here, this offers an excellent hybrid cloud features. And along with that, it also provides the easy migration from one premises, that is on premises, to the cloud. And it also gives us an integrated environment for application development, the testing, as well as deployment in the cloud. So that's the best part about this Azure. So it's like it also has the feature like the on-demand provisioning. When I say on-demand provisioning, we can ask for whatever the type of resources that we want, and we'll only be paying on the amount of resources that we use, and we can stop whenever we want. We can scale out or scale in or scale up or down depending on the usage or minutes usage or the requirement, and it is pay as per our usage. And here, while working, we'll be focusing only on the needs and not on the overall hardware specification. So here with Azure, so we can also utilize the skills, knowledge, and the resources of the experts. And every unit of usage that is managed service is measurable, which gives you an idea as how much you'll be charged by the end of the month. Okay, so these are some of the key features of this Microsoft Azure. Now, apart from this, if you look into their documentation, they're also going to list some of the other features, like it has secure and dedicated access to the Redis cache, which is actually possible with Azure Redis cache. And it also talks about the Azure batch, which helps us to effectively run and execute the applications like an assembly line. And we also have the load balancer. So there are some great features that are available in Azure, which makes it one of the most used cloud computing vendor. Okay. Now that you have the overall idea about this Azure, so let's have a look into this Azure platform. Now at Azure, there are various services that are provided by them. So we've got computing services. So the computing services provides us for managing the virtual machines, and it will also support the remote application, containerization, and the batch processing. And we also have a service of web. So the web services offered by Azure that would include, that would actually include those which we will be using it for development and the deployment of web-based application, along with the services for search, API management, and the content development. And it also provides the services for storage. So it offers the services for storage, we can actually get the cloud storage for both structured as well as the unstructured data. And it also provides the services for migration, which will help us to migrate the data from on-premise to the cloud domain. And it also provides the services for networking, so which will help us to establish the dedicated connections and the gateways. And here, when we talk about the storage, as I mentioned, it provides the storage services for scalable storage for both structured and the unstructured data. And this also supports the persistent, the archival storage of big data as well. And it provides a database services for storing the data, as I mentioned, for structured data. And it provides the messaging services to send out the notification for the users as well as the team. And it provides the networking solution, management tools, content delivery. So it offers services for globally distributed networks for content caching, on-demand streaming services, media playback, encoding, and so on. It provides the tools for identity and access management, hybrid integration. So these are the various features and the services that are provided by Azure. So if I want to talk about the applications of Azure, see, this move towards the cloud is, I would say, it's unstoppable. And even with the companies that I'm working with or the clients that I worked with, now they're all moving to the cloud. So with this, I can list out some of the commonly used applications of Azure. One, it is used in development. So it will help you in building the successful software development by assisting with code sharing, testing application, troubleshooting, software development kit, and so on. And Azure will help you in DevOps. So Azure DevOps actually offers some of the set of tools and services for DevOps implementation, which includes application diagnostics, test lab for build testing, experimentation, Visual Studio team services, and so on. And it provides the machine learning applications. So machine learning applications which are offered by Azure include those which are used for creating the powerful AI and cognitive computing models, data sets for training the models, and so on. It also provides the tools for containerization, so which would include the Azure platform for Docker and Kubernetes, which is an implementation for creation and orchestration of huge volumes of container. It supports for IoT, IT security, the list goes on, team. Okay, so now that you have understood what exactly is this Microsoft Azure, moving on, let's understand what exactly is this Power BI. Okay, so let's understand what exactly is this Power BI. So here, when we talk about this Power BI, one of the common term that you need to first understand is business intelligence. Okay, when we say business intelligence is a collection of methods and the tools that analyze the raw data. And the business intelligence refers to strategies and the methods which are used by companies for performing the data analysis of any business information. And this business intelligence generally works on ETL process, that is extraction, transformation, and loading the data into a database, which includes the data mining, AP, that is online analytical processing, business reporting. So this is what the business intelligence is all about. And most organizations generally use the business intelligence to improve their performance and the operations efficiently and in an effective manner. Now, when we talk about this Power BI, it's one of the important tool that we have got with us. So the reason is, for any successful growth of an organization, it's very important that you make the right business decision based on the available data set. And it's also necessary to fetch the relevant data, which is present in various different sources, and also report it in an understandable format. So this was one of the main reasons why Microsoft Power BI was actually designed. So this Power BI helps us to convert the raw data into a meaningful and useful information in a very short amount of time. This was originally designed by Ron George, and when it started, it was named as the project Crescent, and later on it was renamed to Power BI after being accepted by Thierry Dehers and Amir Nets of the SQL Server reporting services team at Microsoft. Okay, and then it was released by Microsoft in the year of late 2012 or 2013. So around that time, it was actually released. And this is a business intelligence cloud service by Microsoft. That's what the Power BI is. So it provides the non-technical business users with the tools for aggregation, analysis, visualization, as well as sharing the data. Okay, so here, when we talk about this Power BI has main components. So let's have a look into the main components of this Power BI. So the first component that we have got is the Power Query. So using this Power Query, we can search, access, and transform the public and the internal data source with Power Query. And we have got Power Pivot. So the data modeling for in-memory analytics in Power BI is taken care by this Power Pivot. And we have got Power View. So you can actually visualize, analyze, and display the data in Power BI with the help of Power View. And Power Map, the Power Map is responsible for creating the interactive geographical data visualization. And then, yeah, we've got Power BI service. So which by using this Power BI service, you can share data views and the workbooks along with refreshing from on-premise and cloud-based data sources. We have got Power BI Q&A. So the Power BI Q&A allows us to ask questions and also get the answers by using the natural language query. And we have got data management gateway. The data management gateway provides the regular data refreshers, view data feeds, and expose tables. And we have got the data catalog. By using data catalog, the user can discover along with reusing the queries using the data catalog. Also, this kind of functionality can be facilitated. You can actually implement it with the help of metadata as well. Okay. And yeah, now that you have understood the basics, so before we move to the Azure ML, so I want to give you an idea about this architecture. See, Power BI architecture typically consists of the data foundation layer, data analytics engine, and the data visualization dashboard. So these are the three things that Power BI architecture has. So when I talk about this data foundation, okay, when we talk about this data foundation, so like the various file formats from various cloud data sources can be harmonized and brought into unified data model by using the Power BI. It can integrate the data with various cloud sources such as Azure Dataverse and different file formats like flat files and the CSV file. And the next one is data analytics. So Power BI has comprehensive analytics capabilities. This would range from descriptive to diagnostic data. Using the DAX-based logic and the analytical framework, Power BI can execute the varied range of analytical calculation and the experimentations of the data foundation. And this Power BI can integrate with cloud-based machine learning platforms like Azure ML. And we have got the data visualization. So it offers the visualization, which is very simple to explain the complicated data. And we can connect the data to various data sources. Now that you have the overall understanding of this Power BI, let's understand about the Azure ML. So let's understand about this Azure ML. So let's get started, folks. So here, when we say Azure Machine Learning, okay, so Azure Machine Learning help us to save the cost as well as time. So by using this Azure Machine Learning, it actually makes it, okay, it actually makes it the development in an easier manner. So here, with the help of this machine learning models, okay, so like with this Azure Machine Learning, we can actually build the machine learning models with the help of the features like a drag and drop. That's the core idea about this Azure Machine Learning. When we talk about this Azure Machine Learning, okay, so here in case of Azure being a second largest provider that we have got, so here in case of Azure, so like it surely has the enough data sets. Now here, this runs on the Azure public cloud, and which means that we don't have to buy the hardware or the software, and all the deployment and the maintenance are taken care by the Azure. So here, with the help of this Azure Machine Learning, we can easily use our model in a web service, IoT device, or even in Power BI as well. So as a result of this, it also provides us with predictive analytics at a low cost. And this Microsoft gives us the full support in terms of documentation on how to work with it. And the Azure Machine Learning Studio provides us with a drag and drop workspace, which actually does not require the coding. Okay, and when we say this Azure Machine Learning, it comes with various tools. It comes with the tools like Azure Machine Learning Studio and the Azure Machine Learning Service. Those are the two tools that we would generally get. Now, if I take you through the official documentation page of this Azure Machine Learning, so this is the official tutorial by the Azure, okay, which is Azure Machine Learning in a day. This is one of the good article which is shared by Azure team. So like it says, you just have to run through this notebook. So here, what they're saying is on the top bar, select the compute instance. Okay. And once you select the compute instance, you'll just have to go ahead and execute the various notebooks. You'll get the independent, you'll just start with the import. So here you just do importing the ML client and the Azure credential, and you will connect to the workspace with this code. Okay. And next you'll start by like setting up your workspace, and you will initialize get a handle for the workspace, and you will then go ahead, you'll create a compute resource to run your job. Okay, so they clearly see that. So like you will require a compute resource for running the job. It can be single or a multi-node machine with Windows or Linux OS. And based on the requirement, we can actually initialize the compute instance. And then you'll go ahead and create a job requirement, and that's the overall way team. So it's very similar to the implementation that you might be already aware of. Now, more specifically, this is the implementation of machine learning code, where I'm making use of gradient boosting classifier model and the classification report for evaluating the model and splitting the data with the help of train test split function. So here we'll start the logging, then which is followed by separating the X and Y. Then once we separate the X and Y, we are initializing the model, performing the fit, and generating the prediction. Okay, so that's the overall way in which that you can get started. You can check out this page for the complete documentation of this Azure machine learning. Now, when we talk about this Azure machine learning, okay, let me take you through the same. So this is the official documentation page of Azure machine learning. So it says use an enterprise grade service for an end-to-end machine learning lifecycle. So it says business critical machine learning models at scale. So it will help you to build, deploy, and manage the high quality models faster with confidence. And it accelerates the time to value with industry leading machine learning operation. And I would say it's one of the best services which are available, which provides the machine learning as a service. And not just that, it also supports the end-to-end machine learning lifecycle like data labeling, data preparation, data set generation, and the ability to create the notebook and run the experimentation with the help of notebooks. And it also has the ability for automated machine learning. We can set up the job and it will help us to find the best hyperparameters. It has got the drag and drop designer, and it will help us to run the experiments and create and share the custom dashboard. And we can validate and deploy as well. So we can make use of pre-built images, share and track the models and the data, pipelines and CI/CD. We can automate the machine learning workflows, and we can manage and monitor the models. So we can perform the monitoring and analysis. We can look for the data drift, error analysis, auditing, cost control. So these are the various features and that are provided by this Azure machine learning. So I would say that overall, in case of Azure Machine Learning, we'll get two tools. One is Azure Machine Learning Studio, and the second tool is Azure Machine Learning Service. Okay. So, all right, folks. So as you can clearly see, using machine learning as a service will help you to get a boost of benefit of cloud, as well as the wonderful and more amount of data that we have got. Okay, so folks, with this, we come to the end of today's session. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in with us. And I look forward to seeing you next time.